All right, so today we're going to talk about the third house in astrology. What does it mean on that fundamental level? And up to this point, we've talked about the first and second house, which were the beginning of the journey. The first house is when we become aware of self. And then the second house is we become aware of our values. And now the third house is we become aware of learning. We become aware of the importance of learning and of also the importance of others. You know, this is the first of the air houses, which is our interrelationships. So it's a very social house, it's a very mental house, and a communicative house. And as you know, the areas of life are what's seen by the house placement. So if you want to get more information on any area of life associated with thinking, communicating, socializing, you can look at the third house. So this could be things like books for someone. It can be how they think, how they communicate, their communication styles. You can also see siblings and peers from the third house because this is the house, again, of socializing, but definitely on the even plane. You know, it's like peers. We're all on the even plane, on the even keel, and we're sharing and exchanging information in terms of what works. Okay, and it's very practical too. So it's the beginning of the life journey where we really start to understand, wow, these things can be applied, and we can learn things through experiences that can be applied later into the future journey. So that's the third house in a nutshell. It's a cadent house, which is the first of the cadent houses, and the cadent houses are essentially the last types of houses before we start the cycle over again, because we started the cycle with the angular house of the first house, and now we're about to start a new cycle with the fourth house next, which is the angular house, so a new series of houses there. So cadent houses are about releasing the old energies because you're about to change, things are about to change, so it's about changing and adaptability, and that's another good way of looking at the third house. It's anything that is adaptive, and when we do put positive energy into the third house, we are that much more adaptive and willing to change and go with the flow. So it's a good way of putting energy into an area so that we are more adaptive, because it does make the other areas of our life and just our overall life in general much more healthy in that regards. Now, it is still the bottom left quadrant of the natal chart. So again, it's still personal, just like our thoughts are personal, and it is still very intrinsic or subjective in nature because it's at the bottom of the chart. And of course, our thoughts and ideas are subjective in nature. So you can see that there as well. And it's an air house, like I was saying, it's associated with Mercury and Gemini. So again, synergy. And that's a good way of looking at the third house, is synergy, you know, because the thinking aspect of it is that our minds are literally synergizing. You know, it's communicating within, like, say, the left and right hemispheres. So it's about synergy internally, but it's also about synergy externally, which is sharing and even trading. You know, a lot of it has to do with the marketplace and exchanging. So if you want to see sales or, like, you know, marketing or whatever it is, you know, that has to do with exchanging, you can see that in the third house as well. So putting good energy in there does create more adaptability. And one thing I want to say too is completely opposite that third house is the ninth house. So if you feel like, you know, especially if there's a node in the third house, or if there's a lot of, maybe sometimes it feels like too much energy into the third house, the ninth house can help balance it out. All these opposite axes can help balance out these energies. So the ninth house is helping us see everything from the overarching perspective, not so much down into the daily stuff of the third house, very deep into the more practical aspects. The ninth house is much more expansive. We're seeing the big picture. We're seeing the overarching view. We're seeing what's possible in life. Right? Not so much the scientific, but more of maybe the spiritual or philosophical or theoretical aspects. More energy into that ninth house can help balance out that third in a nutshell. So that's pretty much what the third house is. You want to look to see if there's any planets in that third house, which is going to show you the experiences associated with those areas of life. You want to look at any signs that make up that third house. There's always at least one, and the most important will be the third house cusp. So the beginning of that third house, what is that sign? And then if you, and keep in mind too, the sign is going to show you the qualities of that area of life. But if you want to get more specific with it, you can always look at the ruler of that third house, which will be the ruler of that cusp sign. I'll put a PDF down below for rulerships. For example, if someone had Cancer on the cusp of the third house, their ruler of the third would be the moon. So you would go and see where's the moon placed and the house and sign position of that. And one more thing too you can do also for more information on this area of life is look at Mercury. Where's Mercury placed? Because he is the significator of that third house for everybody. What's his house position and sign position? So first is planets. Sometimes there's planets in there, sometimes there's not. But you look at that first, and then next will be the sign, which will show you the qualities. Okay, and then after that will be more specific information through the rulership and Mercury. So that's pretty much it. Third house, the house of communication, the house of the social aspects of life, and everything relating to life about synergy that can be categorized into that area. And you can see more about that through that house. So if you guys have any questions, please do let me know, and I'll see you guys all next time for the fourth house. Take care.